So it is the largest Reformed synagogue west of the Mississippi, and it's here in our area, actually one of the largest in the nation. For more than 150 years, Temple Emanuel has served the Denver Jewish community, and this weekend it will make history when it installs two women as its senior rabbis together. There are those two women, and they are also here with me, Rabbi Emily Hyatt and Rabbi Elizabeth Sachs. Welcome, both of you. It's nice to meet you in person. You just told me before we came on air that you just learned today that Temple Emanuel is the seventh largest in the country?
The seventh largest congregation in the country. Those numbers depend on our membership numbers at any moment, which fluctuate when people move in and out of areas or with births and deaths and things like that. But we're really proud of our size and how vibrant our community is.
And 151 years you're celebrating this year?
That is a tremendous history. Temple Emanuel was founded in 1874, which makes it older than the state of Colorado and means that it has really been a constant presence here in Colorado and in the Denver area since it was founded.
All right, so full disclosure, my mother is also a rabbi, and she did that in the 80s, which was really long before. It was just a handful of women in the world doing it in the 80s, and that was a glass ceiling that we could talk about that was really difficult for her and those women to break. But all these years later, we do see women rabbis. It's more common, but what's happening at your temple is not. You guys are going to be the first two women to lead the congregation, senior rabbis, and you're doing it together. Tell me how that happened.
Well, so there's a couple of things that are happening. Number one is we're going through a leadership transition in general. Our senior rabbi came to the end of his, he was ready to retire and knew that that was coming, and he did an amazing job. And when that happened, we had been talking for a long time about what it would look like, not only to be two women who were taking over, but to do it in a partnership model. And the idea of collaborative leadership models and non-hierarchical models in the way that we have been learning about them has been really cool and really powerful and really, I think, neat for our congregation to think about what does it look like to have partnership at the top.
And also smart, I would like to say, because I watched my mother run a relatively large shul, and she was pulled in 50 different directions. You just can't be at one bedside and one funeral and one wedding. So you'll be doing it together, and you have a really large synagogue.
Yes, I would also just say that not only is that practical from the point that you just lifted, but also when we think about what does it mean to be a religious and spiritual leader, you want to be able to bring all of the spiritual holiness that you can, and you can't do that if you are fractured and spread out. And if you're not modeling what it feels like to have a healthy, as much as possible, work-life balance with your family, you aren't actually fulfilling the role that you have been asked to on behalf of the congregation.
Do you think women are better at that than men?
No comment.
Yeah, I don't think that's a wise thing for us to answer, particularly right now.
I ask you that because, as I told you when we first talked, my mother would always say, I'm a rabbi who happens to be a woman. And I would imagine that you guys would say the same thing. Nobody wants to be, you want to be tagged as a rabbi because that's your chosen profession. But there are some things that men and women do differently. And I watch that with my mother. You are also younger than the rabbis I grew up with, and I'm sure many people out there. So how is that? What does that do for your congregation?
I think what it does most of all is that we are raising our children as members of the congregation and in front of our congregation, and the truest truths of our lives when we are holding it all and doing it all, I think we're modeling for our community at large and for our children that we sometimes just do it. We just do all of the things all of the time, and that is beautiful, to be surrounded by community and to be surrounded by each other's kids and each other's families all the time. And I hope that what our congregation is taking from us is that we are no different than anybody else, and we are also struggling to find that balance, but also we're finding that balance in community, and that feels beautiful.
It is beautiful, and tomorrow night will be the Shabbat service, and this weekend is full of events. The rabbi from Central Synagogue in New York City is coming out here. It's going to be great. Congratulations, I should say, Mazel Tov. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And best of luck.
Thank you so much.